Hello, welcome back to comics. So today we're going to be doing another comics. So we were at comics like 62 or something. So we're at episode 24 of Recess Lands. So Zane's walking by in like the weird lands, the field that they found. Colin's walking by and there's a crow. The crow comes, and then he says, "Get out of my land!" So then they're like, "Oh frick!" and they run. And then they trip over like the destroyed ruins of the school, and Zane's like, "Whoa!" And then Colin's like metal ring just like starts exploding, and he's like, "It's glowing." So it's like glowing, and it flies in the air and like explodes, and just like it's like a shockwave that like knocks everyone down. And Luke's like, "Look!" It says Luke, not Luke. So then he's like, "New world." So like that's the original Recess Lands map. That's the field. This is the new area called the neighborhood. We have 4 houses, a little road, and a parking lot. Then we have a pool, and we have a green playground, which is bigger than the orange playground and the blue playground combined. Actually, I'm not sure about combined. So Zane is like, "Cronin, plan this." So he walks in, and Zane walks out of the house. And it's Zane, he's like, it's the other Zane, he's like, "Hello." And he's like, "Zane?" And calls it oof. And Luke's like, "Oh no." Man, that's probably the last Recess Lands one, I think. So I honestly don't know what part of the New Destroyers this is. I honestly actually don't. That's a problem. I actually don't know what part of the New Destroyers this is. I figured out that this is part 6 of New Destroyers. Alright. So, in the New Destroyer ship, Clockwise is walking up to Chronic, and he's like, and Chronic's like, "Clockwise?" And Clockwise is like, yeah, there's a problem. And he's like, "Alpha Centauri put a bounty on Pure Silver." And then Chronic's like, "That's bad." And Clockwise is like, "What do we do?" And Cyber walks in, and he's like, "We fight." And then Clockwise is like, "Cyber?" And then Clockwise is like, "They're the leaders of the dimension. They have a giant army. We're going to need a bigger army." And Chronic's like, "I know a place we can get one." So they touch so he sends Clockwise to and Cronin over and he goes there. And then Cyborg's like, "Now he has to babysit all the kids." Because there's like 2 kids also. Talon and Talon and Slice on the ship also. So then they get out of the Chrono Rope, and they're actually at the Island of Shadows area, 1,000 years before the story. So like Island of Shadows right now, Island of Shadows takes place during the year 4 billion, or like 5 billion, I think. So then they went back in time, but Chronic is, when he was telling the stories to Siphon of Island of Shadows, he went back in time to, like, observe it. So, he went back to, like, the year 4 billion. So, Island of Shadows taken place in the year 4 billion. So, then 1,000 years later, when the main story's taken place. So, this is, like, 1,000 years before, like, the story of Island of Shadows. So, like, 1,000 years after this, it'll still be in the year 4 billion. So, yeah. I just thought I need to explain that. So this guy walks up, and he's like a little elf, and Chronic's like, "Hi." He's like, "I'm Chronica." And the Clockwise is like, "I'm Clockwise." He's like, No, stop, you're not supposed to use your real name." And he's like, "Do you have powers?" And Chronic's like, "No, we do not have powers." And Clockwise is like, "Yes, we do." And Chronic's like, "Clockwise!" He's like, No, we need to let them know we have powers so that they'll follow us. And he's like, "We are seeking an army." And then the elf guy's like, "This way." So he takes him to King Orc, which isn't really the leader of the area. So he's like, "Powerful people have come in search of an army." So then the elf is like, "Chronica with Clockwise, sir." And then King was like, "You have powers." And Clockwise is like, "Yes." So then he goes back in time, picks up a rock from 5 years later, and then he goes forward in time. So basically that rock just like materialized out of nowhere for them. And he's like, "You can do magic." Oh yeah, accidentally ripped the journal there. I'll rip. Literally rip. And King Orc is like, "Why would we give you an army still?" And then Karnak blasts the rock, and Clockwise's like, He's like, yeah, because we'll destroy you, and it makes a frowny face on that rock, and it, like, makes it darker. And then King Quist's like, take him to the wizard. So then the elf guy takes him to the wizard, so they go to this weird, like, mansion, little hut thing, and then the elf is like, more wizards, I hear. And it's Epicard, he's the wizard, and he's like, you! Because in the year 4 billion, Epicard flew to the Island of Shadows dimension to, like, hang out there for a while, and since the planet of Island of Shadows, well, the planet the Island of Shadows was taking place on was so unadvanced, he, became their leader because he had magical powers. And Epicard's like, cool, wizards. And then Karnak is like, you are Epicard. So, Karnak's like, you are Epicard. And he's like, yes. And then Zane walks up and he's like, Karnak, Clockwise. Because Zane also, he found a time machine. He went back in time to go there, to go here also, to talk to Epicard. And then he's like, and Zane's like, they're from the future. And then Epicard's like, when? And Karnak's like, sometime in the year 8 billion. And Epicard's like, whoa, it's only year 4 billion, 720 billion. Somewhere in I don't know, I didn't write the numbers right. Somewhere in the year 4 billion. Clockwise, okay. So then, Karnak is like, saying, are you from our time, or are you from the past? And he's like, no, I'm from your time. Yes. And then Epicard's like, what's your purpose? And Karnak's like, we need an army. And Zane's like, no. The end. Done. Alright, part 7, Island of Shadows. So, Bob has got a crossbow, and then Sylvester's like, they're coming to attack. And so it's like, we must destroy them. So then, they're like in a well, and this guy's getting water from the well. And then Sylvester's like, tackles them, and he's like, the wells are poisoned. And then he's like, oh, I'm okay, because he drank some. He drank some of that water, and he's like, but I'm okay. And then he's like, the mouse that was supposed to poison some of the wells. So it was like, he chose not to. No, okay. Halfling walks up, and he's like, the mouse is supposed to poison some of the wells. And then Sylvester's like, he chose not to. And Sylvester's like, So then, Colin walks up, and there's the head of, security guy. And, I mean, no, wait, that's not right. That's Bloodman. And there's the head of security guy, and he's like, 5 gold. And, he's like, he's like, can I have a weapon? And the head of security guy's like, 5 gold. And Bloodman's like, for free? And then, the head of security guy's like, no. So then they're all on top of a wall. Well, the people that are on top of a wall is Sylvester, Bloodman, Bob, Halfling. There's like a bunch of army, and then there's the head of security guy right there. And there's also 2 archers on top of the wall. So then there's security guy plus a bunch of swordmen are down there. So then like 5 floating eyeballs come, and then one of them shoots one of the archers, and then Halfling jumps up. He's like, my villagers, and shoots a beam out of his staff that hits one of the eyeballs and causes it to explode. Then a triangle man, a square man, and another square man. Like triangle man, box man, and box man. Like all come up. So, like there's those 3 guys that run up into the wall, and then Halfling jumps from one of the cyborg guys to the other cyborg guys and destroys another one. And then 4th, the guy that was leading the attack, rocks up with like a weird crocodile monster thingy. So then there's 2 that crashed because I ran out of storage, so yeah, I had to fix that. Alright, so then there's 2 frogs in each bowl, and then there's like 2 bowls that like run up and they're full with frogs. So yeah, there's like multiple branches of armies. So the Sylvester jumps off the wall, and Bob was like, what? And he saw another cyborg guy, so there's only 2 left, and it explodes, and then Sylvester falls down, stabs the frog, and kills it. So one of the archers hits another cyborg guy, and then Bob shoots a little stick, because he doesn't have any arrows, because he rented a crossbow, and, like, he doesn't have any arrows, so, like, he used the sharp sticks, and he shot one at 4th, and he blocks it, and then he blocks it back, and it hits Bloodman. No, it doesn't hit Bloodman. It just, 4th blocks it, and then Bloodman gets shot by an arrow from a frog. They're not really frogs, they're just kind of, like, grayed out, like, little, like, aquatic monsters. But I call them frogs. So then, Halfling punches a frog and shoots a healing beam up at Bloodman that heals him. So then, Bloodman jumps down and, he was about to battle Fourth and Crocodile Man. And then Bob also jumps down and, oh yeah, he jumps down, Bloodman jumps down, Bob jumps down. Bloodman jumps down in front of Fourth and Crocodile, and Bob jumps down with the giant hammer, abandons his crossbow, and smacks little square guy in the face. So then he's battling the square guy with his hammer, because the square guy has little sword, and then Bloodman shoots a beam at Fourth, but Fourth blocks it. Fourth's really good at blocking stuff. And the frog kicks Halfling in the face. The mushroom pet monster thing eats Triangle Man. And then Fourth is battling Bloodman. Well, he throws 3 knives at the head of security guy. Why? Because the head of security guy killed his Crocodile Man. So then that security guy blocks one of them. Ching, blocks another one. Clang, and then gets sliced minorly by one of them. So then Bloodman shoots Fourth. Fourth's like, no, and then Sylvester slices him. Sylvester also kills a frog. And then Halfling runs up and kills the last Boxman that Bob was battling. And then one bowl with the frog monsters in them escape, and then one of the frogs falls out. And then 2 of the eyes escape. So there's actually 6 of them. But then Halfling shoots them. So this is actually called dividing line. Like, he shoots it, and then like this is just like way up, and it just kills. So then there's Bob, and he's like, "We won, we did it, we have succeeded in life." And then Bloodman's walking by, and there's this one frog, and Halfling's like, "Oh, look, it's a froggy boy." And Sylvester's like, "We must kill it." No, Sylvester's like, "We need him." And then Bloodman's like, "Where's your leader?" And the frog is like, "Sounds like yes, leader." And then Bloodman's like, "Where is he?" And then Frog is like, "Me, take you to him." And Bloodman's like, "Yes." Then he gets like possessed and gets teleported to another dimension where it's the guy with the scar, the school warrior with the scar, and he's like, "Hey, look, it's you." And then he's like, and he's like, "Luke died because of you." And he's like, my sister just screamed "oof" a million times. And then she Google broadcast that to me using my little Google thingy. So, yee. And then, so Bloodman's like, "Luke died because of you." And he's like, "Yes." And but Bloodman's like, "You're dead." And then the Scar guy's like, no, and shoots Bloodman, just obliterates him and nothingness and kills him. Yeah, again, Bloodman, he's dead. So then, the hooded guy walks up and with the Skull Warrior leader. He's like, "We have a problem." And he's like, "The leader of the Mice Men is gone." And then, Scar guy's like, "Don't worry, I killed the lead wizard." And then the guy with the hood is like, "Good." So, Part 8, Island of Shadow. So then there's Bob, and he's talking to one of the frogs, and he's like, "What do you do?" Because Bloodman is just teleported, and he's like, "Me, take you, leader." And he's like, and Halfling's like, "Bloodman just disappeared out of nowhere." Because he thinks the frogs killed him, but then he just changed mind, and he's like, "Okay, maybe the frogs didn't kill him." So then he's like, "Leader, is this way?" So he starts running. It's like a day later, they're all walking, because they've been like running for like hours. And then the stone gives him like hypnosis. And he's like, "Aren't you okay?" Because now they got possessed by the stone again. And then there's the mouse man. He's like, "You." And Bob's like, "Mouse man." And Bob is like, "Leader of the mouse men." And the mouse is like, "I am part of darkness." And he's like, "Okay, the darkness." And he's like, "I need you to kill them." Huh? "I need help the mice men defeat them." "I'll never work with you. Because the darkness is just like a group of people that hate the city of Epicar. And the Skull Warrior is just like a branch of them. And he's like, they still believe I'm with them. If you don't, I'll blow your cover as I'll grow second. And then Sylvester's like, it's a good deal. And I was like, fine, I'll work with you. And then the stone gets rid of all their hypnosis, and the guy called Jarhad with 2 little rats. Oh, by the way, the mice and the rats are, like, working together. They've always been working together. So the mice men and the rats are always working together. So then Jarhad's like, we were sent to follow you. Because he's like a little hooded mouse. So he's not the hooded guy, he's just a mouse with a hood. So the end. It's part 9, Island of Shadow. So the Jarhad, his 2 rats, mushroom pet thingy, Halfling, Sylvester, Bob, Froggy. They're all walking, and then Bob and the Froggy see a guy just beam down, and then his name is Colin. He's like, my village just got burnt down by a bunch of crazy people. And he's like, and Bob's like, we're going to go stop a bunch of bad people. You want to join us? And then he's like, violence is never the answer. And Bob's like, well, you realize you'll be saving lots of innocent lives by doing this. And he's like, okay, sure, I'll join you. And then Bob was like, good, now I'll explain everything that just happened. So he explains their entire journey of, like, fighting the Skull Warriors, and then, like, fighting the Goblins, and then fighting the Skull Warriors again, and then the entire raid in the city, and just, like, everything they've been through in the story. So he's, like, explaining all that. So then after that, they're all walking. There's just everyone who's they're part of. So, yeah. So then, at night, so then this is just a kind of montage, like, everyone's sleeping. Colin has, like, a giant battle axe, and he has glow-in-the-dark eyes when it's nighttime. So then, you get your grassland, he asks the frog where we're going, he's like a swamp. So one day later, they see his lake with, like, a house, and he's like, it's the lake of Jack, and so it's like, it's the lake of Jack Jackson. So, and then they paddle in a boat, and a few hours later, Sylvester just, like, walks up, to Bob, and he's like, we're probably walking into a trap, you know that, right? And Bob was like, yeah, we probably are. We'll be ready for it, though. Sylvester's like, wait, what? Then why are we even doing this? And Halfling's like, to save the city of Epicor. And Sylvester's like, why are we even going with you? Why am I even going with you guys? And then Halfling's like, because you are a wizard. And Halfling's like, being descended from the Protector clockwise to protect the island. And Sylvester's like, I'm not a wizard. And he's like, I just wanted to crush the Skull Warriors. And he's like, and Halfling's like, yeah, you did that, but you're still here. And Halfling's like, it's in your blood to protect. And he's like, my parents weren't wizards. How am I supposed to be a wizard? And he's like, sometimes things are just strange like that. So then he's like, huh? And he accidentally shoots a laser beam, and he's like, he's like, and Halfling's like, you are a wizard. So then a few more hours later, everyone's just like walking. Jarhad walks up to the little froggies. Forgot to, like, call. They're not really frogs, they're just like aquatic little monster thingies, but I call them frogs for, like, no reason. So then Bob was like, who is this Selvik? It's like, Bob is there. And then Jarhad walks up to the frog. So he's going to talk to the frog, but then Bob started talking to Jarhad, and he's like, who is this Selvik? And the frog's like, Selvik is our leader. And then Jarhad's like, Mouseman told me that he supported the darkness. So the darkness is just like a group of people that like it's that council that you saw in there. And each of those people in that council lead like a certain army of people. Like Mouseman led the Micemen, the Orc guy led the Skull Warriors. This guy leads like an entire another army of people. Yeah, meanwhile, there's the hooded guy walking up to the scarred guy, and he's like, Sivan, because now this guy's name is actually Sivan. Dun, 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 dun. So he's like, whoa! He's like meditating. And then the hooded guy is like, the rats and the mice men have surrounded our bases. I'm pretty sure they're not on our side anymore. So then he's like, and the wizards are marching to Selvik. And then he's like, this call is for a meeting. So then they walk, and then now this is the new council. Since Fourth is dead, the Mouse Man's gone, so he was supposed to be replacing Fourth. except then Mouseman's gone, so that's his council seat. So then we have the leader of the Skull Warriors, the hooded guy, Saivan, and then, like, a guy with spikes. He has his own little army thing, too. So this is all, like, the Council of Darkness. So the hooded guy is like, Mouseman has betrayed us, and the wizards are marching to Selvik. Selvik is a supplier to the darkness. He gives them, he is the leader of the frogs, and he supplies frogs to the darkness to fight the wizards and the city of Epicard. So then the guy, the leader of the Skull Warriors, it says, I can contact Ogrok second, see if he can help. And then, yeah, Saivan just, like, brutally murders him by shooting, like, electricity laser beams at him. And, yeah, and then that one guy's just like, and the hood guy's like, and Saivan's like, Ogrok never had a second. And then a frog walks up, the frog that escaped in the bowl, he comes up, and he's like, the second was there, he fought us. Because he just escaped, and he already came back to the little base where the council area is. And then he was just following around Saivan, waiting for the precise moment to say, the second was there, he fought us. And then Saivan's like, you've been tricked. And the hooded guy's like, you didn't need to kill the Skull Warrior leader. And Saivan's like, he was weak. So then Saivan and the frog walk away, and he's like, I'll stop these wizards myself. And the frog, like, jumps dramatically. The end. So part 10, Island of Shadow. So they're all walking, and Bob was like, the mice men killed my best friend, my fighting partner. And then Jarhud's like, wizards and mice men are natural enemies. And Bob was like, you know, I think you want the darkness destroyed, because Mouseman can take over. And then Gerard's like, maybe, but all the darkness wants is to take over the city of Epicard. That's not what Mouseman wants. And Bob was like, what does Mouseman want? And he's like, ooh. So then he's like, what about the wizards? And he's like, well, the wizards help us. The wizards helped us. And he's like, we'll spare you. And Bob was like, So then a weird guy with wings flies by, and he's like, the mountains are mad! And then he flies away, and then everyone's like, what? He's like, hey! And then the frog was like, we reached the swamp. So then Bob picks up some mud, and he's like, mud, we're here. Spot 7, new destroyers. So there's Zane, Epicard, and then Chronic and Clockwise. And then Chronic's like, Alpha Centauri, put a bounty on you! And then Epicard's like, me? And then Zane's like, lies, he's lying, you're dead. And then Epicard's like, wait, I'm dead? And Chronic's like, no, you're not. And then Zane's like, the bounty's on Pure Silver is your enemy. So Epicard's not actually dead. Zane said that to make Epicard just be like, what? So then, and then Epicard's like, question mark noise? And then Epicard's like, who is Pure Silver? And then Zane is like, Pure Silver is your enemy. And then Chronic's like, Pure Silver saved us. And then Zane is like, he helped Cyborg steal the Chronon Orb. And Chronic's like, I wasn't there. I never saw that because you killed me. And then Epicard's just like, he's like, what? And then Clockwise is like, why are you even here, Zane? Zane's like, why not? And then Chronic's like, you just give me troops to fight Alpha Centauri. And Epicard's like, no! And so just Chronic's just blasts him with electricity, and then Epicard and Chronic's are battling each other while Zane super speeds behind Clockwise. He doesn't teleport, he super speeds, and just like throws Clockwise over his shoulder. And then when Chronic looks at that, Epicard just blasts Chronic. And then Chronic and Clockwise start running away from the little hut thing. And then Zane and Epicard are just like there. Epicard's like charging up a beam energy because he's ready to fight. So then Clockwise meet that little, like, elf guy. And he's like, what happened? And Chronic's about to say something, and Clockwise is like, help us overthrow the Grand Wizard. And then, the elf's like, no, why would I ever do that? And then Clockwise shoots him in the face with, like, a magical gun. And then Clockwise is like, this is war. The end. Part 8, New Destroyers. So Chronic's like, Clockwise, stop. And Clockwise is like, you want Piercilla to be saved, right? And Chronic's like, yes, but... And then Clockwise is like, we need an army to destroy Alpha Centauri. And then he walks away, and Chronic's just, like, tries to go talk to Zane and Epicar some more. So 1 hour later, Clockwise walking, he runs into this orc, and he's like, I can do magic. And he goes into the... He just goes from the present to the past, picks up a stick, and then goes to the present. So then it looks like he just, like, disappeared, and he reappeared with the stick. So, the orc is like, cool. So, Clockwise is like, listen, I need an army. Do you know anyone besides the Grand Wizard that could give me an army? And then the orc's like, the rebellion could. And he's like, they've been fighting the Grand Wizard since, he came to the island. And then Clockwise is like, where can I find them? And the orc is like, just right over the mountain. So because he was in the forest. So that's that little hut thing. So this is the capital of the Grand Wizard. This is like the city where the Grand Wizard, which is Epicar, and Zane is. Epicar is the Grand Wizard. So that's the little hut where they all are. This like this capital. So then Clockwise walked during an hour from there to there. So those are the mountains that will later become the mountains of Clockwise. And then that's the forest that will later become the Chronicle Forest. So then Clockwise sees a mountain, starts climbing it. After a very long time of climbing the mountain later, he walks up there and he sees this orc guy wearing all black with a black spear. And he's like, what do you want? And then Clockwise shows him the little ball that has a smiley face on it, the rock. He's like, I can do magic. And he's like, I need an army to overthrow the Grand Wizard. And he's like, yes. And he's like, the Bound guy's like, yes. And then Clockwise is like, and he's like, we attack now. And Clockwise is like, no, we attack tonight. So he leaves, he slides down the mountain, back to the beginning of the mountain. And then he walks back to the capital of the Grand Wizard, where he sees Chronic getting thrown out by a guard. And, like a halfling guard, and he's like, never go back. So he gets thrown out of city walls. So Chronic's like, these guards are pretty tough. And then Clockwise like, I found an army, as the guard walks back into the city walls. So they're all walking. They're continuing to walk. And Chronic is like, how many people did you have to kill to do it? And Clockwise like, none. And he's like, there's a rebellion. Well, Clockwise like, no one. He's like, there's a rebellion. And Chronic is like, so we're going to war. And they're still walking as they're talking this through. So like it's like the guy didn't hear them. So then Clockwise is like, yep, we attack tonight. So then they're still walking while a little scout sees that, and he's like, ha 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 ha. And then he's spying on them. He's like, because we attack tonight. So the scout rides back to the city. And he tells Epicar the Grand Wizard, and he's like, so the rebellion is backed by the wizards, the new wizards that we just met, and they attack tonight. And then Zane walks up, and he's like, Grand Advisor. So Epicar's the Grand Wizard, and Zane is the Grand Advisor. So if I refer to them as if anyone refers to him as the Grand Wizard, that's Epicar. And if anyone refers to someone as the Grand Advisor, that's Zane. Zane went back in time to come about like a few months before Chronic and Clockwise got there. So then Zane's like, we attack the capital, Bobland. Does that sound familiar from Island of Shadows? Probably should. So on the mountain, Clockwise climb the mountain, and then the rebellion orc guy's like, you guys are our saviors. I don't know what we'd be able to do without you. So Clockwise walking back to like a house that's on the back, and then Chronic's like, we shouldn't attack Epicar. And Clockwise like, huh? And then Chronic's like, if we kill him, that will change the future. And Clockwise like, eh. And he's like, Epicar got my planet destroyed. And Chronic's like, no, that was Brutalizer. And Clockwise said Epicar gave him the powers. So Chronic's just like, And he's like, well, I'm going to talk to them. And then Clockwise like, no, don't. And he tries to grab Chronic, like electricity flies away. So Clockwise is angry. It's like, anger. So, Chronic dives back into the little hut thing, where he just bounds into their little area with Epicur and Zane. Chronic's like, we have to talk. And Epicur's like, there's something left to say. And Chronic's like, Zane, we have Talon. And Zane's like, oh, frick. He's like, he's supposed to be with his mother, back on Palin. And then Chronic's like, Simon Gray gave him powers. We're teaching him how to use them. And he's like, now give us an army, or I will drop Talon off the next planet I see. And then Zane's like, you wouldn't do that, Chronic. That's not like you. And he's like, I want to save Pure Silver. And Zane's like, Hunger. And then, this is Zane. He walks in front of Epicur. That's Chronic. And he's walking, so he needs little lines. So he walks in front of Epicur, and there's Epicur, Chronic, Zane, Epicur. Then Zane super speeds Chronic away, and then Epicur's like, what? So then there's Bobland, and then he super speeds clockwise there. So then they're all looking at it, he's like, this is them from the backside. So they still have face, just them from the backside. And it's like, Chronic's like, huh? And Clockwise like, what'd you do? It's like, what do you do? And then Zane is like, you see that? Bobland. Capital of the rebellion. And he's like, I have 1,000 troops stationed outside it. Leave and your rebellion lives. And Chronic's like, I'm not even part of the rebellion. And then there's a commander halfling right there. And Zane is like, Commander, kill them all. And Clockwise like, no. And then Zane's like, Clockwise. Clockwise. Oh, yes. Oh, yes, indeed. Bring Talon to me, and your rebellion is spared. So Clockwise points a gun at Zane, which is a very bad idea, and then Chronic's like, no, and then Zane super speeds back with the commander, and the commander's like, oh, frick, and then he super speeds back by the commander. So I forgot to draw Commander Spikes. This is the commander from face. It's just like a commander, the halfling commander. Zane Settle commander. So they accidentally shoots Chronic, and Chronic's like laying there. And Clockwise like, Chronic! It's like, oh, frick! And Zane's like, oh yeah, spiky teeth time. So then Clockwise is like sad, because he just shot Chronic. Of course he'll be sad. So yeah, Clockwise has like a weird pistol that like he can pull out of nowhere. And then Zane is like, launch the attack, and the commander's like, yes sir. Yeah. Clockwise has a weird pistol that like can like morph into like any other weapon. And Clockwise is like, you'll pay. And Zane's like, oh, will I? The end. So I haven't really finished. This is probably like the end of what I'm drawing here, but like I want you to still see what's there. So we have part 9, New Destroyers. So on the mountains there is a guy that runs up, and there's someone running up the mountains. So then there's the rebellion guy with the pike, and then another rebellion guy with the sword. So the rebellion guy with the pike is like, where's Clockwise? And then the rebellion guy with the sword is like, we must attack. So this other rebellion guy climbs up the mountain, and he's like, Bobland is under attack. And all the rebellion guys like, oh, frick. So they all start running towards Bobland. So Clockwise runs toward Bobland, and he sees the battle going on. And he sees one of the halfling guys stab one of the rebellion guys. So he pulls out his gun, shakes it, morphs it into a shotgun, and shoots one of the rebellion guys in the face, and go boom. And then there's another guy that gets stabbed. This guy with 2 daggers, rebellion guy with 2 daggers, and halfling guy slides into him and stabs him. And now this is going to be all-out war in the next episode.